Hello, guys. So Otaku Ops here. How's it going? Today I'm gonna talk about Resident Evil, specifically about the Netflix adaptation. So the thing about it, right? I mean, for me, I've been a fan of Resident Evil for quite a long time, but the thing is, like, I haven't played all of them. I think I started with like the third one, and then the fourth one. I didn't play the fifth and the sixth one really, and then I played like seven, which I forgot the name of it. Anyway, the one with the weird house and swamp place. I also did not play the village yet, so I have it actually, but I did not play it yet. And I did play the second one, which was the remake of the second one. So yeah, I played both for the male and the female characters. Anyway, the point is, like, in the when I started from the third game, right, it was still the era of fixed cameras, so it was very annoying because sometimes the enemy can be like in between the cameras, and so when you're trying to change the screen, like, they're trying to grab you there and you can't even see what's going on because he's like just off the screen of both cameras, and that was really something. Anyway, so Resident Evil, yeah, it's very different from Silent Hill because Silent Hill is really more psychological horror. I know, unfortunately, that in the later editions of Silent Hill, they made it more kind of actiony, and yeah, that's not what Silent Hill is about. They should just quit doing that. But Resident Evil, though, on the other side, is about pretty much, going through the stage and wiping everything out. I mean, you don't have to, but you can. So, yeah, Resident Evil. And then when we get to the movies, I think like most of them are just a complete train wreck. The first one was like, all right. I know obviously it has issues and people have issues with it as well, but overall, like, not bad, not terrible. Could be better, sure, but not bad. But the everything that followed it though was just like a mess. Just, yeah, really kind of a mess. And so now they have the Netflix, Resident Evil show. And if you don't know what's going on actually with Netflix, is that, well, I heard that they're removing a bunch of programs and people are getting pissed off about that because they're removing things that people enjoy. And they're leaving a bunch of crap that nobody wants to watch, basically. Well, there's other issues, of course. It's not just that, but yeah, a lot of people are unsubscribing right now, leaving the subscription from Netflix. So, um, I don't know. Personally, for me, like, there are a couple of things on Netflix which I really like. I mean, Attack on Titan is there, Dark is there. Um, there's a few other things, but I don't know. For me, like, if I really enjoy something, I'm just gonna get the Blu-ray or DVD. That's how I really support the creators, because on Netflix, I'm not even sure like how it works, like how much compensation everybody gets for somebody watching the material. I'm really not sure about that. I'm sure it's not a lot though, because it's just diluted in one subscription fee that you pay. So yeah. Anyway, I digress. So Resident Evil Netflix show. So I'm gonna go through a couple of articles, namely from GameSpot and IGN. So my first comment about GameSpot and IGN is that a lot of the people who work there, and look, I'm a person, I don't care about picking up fights because that's kind of, I'm a confrontational person. So I feel like a lot of people who work there are the kind of, your generic um people who think everything is new, everything is original, like basically the way it works is, let's say something comes out in 2023, right? So next year. and they're gonna jump on that and say like, wow, this is unique, this is amazing, this was never done before. And unfortunately, like, they feed into this kind of mob of people who think alike. And generally, the mob doesn't know a lot. Let's be honest there. People don't know a lot, don't know about past things that have been released before. And they indeed treat everything that comes out right now as new, unique, original. And I'm just like, no, it's not. I mean, you just don't know anything. And for you, it seems like this, but it's not the case. Anyway, so the GameSpot and IGN, for me, mostly from everything I see from what they write. I mean, okay, sometimes it's okay, but they really cater to this kind of mainstream, you know, category of people. And again, like, I'm not mainstream. I don't really watch mainstream stuff. Even anime, for example, I don't watch things like Naruto or One Piece or Dragon Ball Z because, well, those things are mainstream. Doesn't mean that they're bad though. Don't get me wrong, but it's just most of the time everything that is mainstream is actually not that good, and you're missing out on like actual quality. It's just it doesn't get enough airtime, the other things, right? And that's the one problem. And so, yeah, GameSpot and IGN, most of the time, I just feel like they're kind of shells to the industry. It doesn't matter what it is, but they'll just write, even if it's a piece of crap, they'll still write that it's the most amazing thing ever, and everybody must watch it. They even use these kind of strong words like you have to watch it. If you don't watch it, you live under a rock or something. You must watch it. They use this very strong language as if basically to make you feel guilty. Like, maybe I should be watching that because, well, they say that, everybody must watch it. And this is like the worst mentality anybody can have, really. So, yeah, don't go with the mob. Don't, like, seriously, just make decisions for yourself. So I'm just gonna read a little bit from the articles, and then I'm gonna actually tell you what's going on. So this is from GameSpot, and check out the headline first of all. The Netflix Resident Evil review, easily the best adaptation of the zombie franchise yet. Well, that's just a lie. Okay, I can tell you that. I can tell you that. And all you have to do really here, I know that's kind of judging a book by the cover, which you shouldn't do really. It's not a good way to judge books. Although sometimes the cover is really crappy, and yeah, there's that too. If you look at the picture, so I don't know this actress's name, uh, she looks completely out of place. Completely wrong casting right away. This is the first picture they chose to show you in the review, and it's one of the worst pictures you'll ever see. So, he goes here, like, this is from Chris Hayner. He goes into this article. So, you can read it. Obviously, it's from GameSpot, so you can go and check out the review. I'm not gonna sit here and read. There's another screenshot they show here from the show. Uh, Again, just terrible. Just look at it. Just look at it. Uh, First of all, the background looks cheap. The two actresses here, again, just completely out of place. The makeup is way too good. Do you really think that if there was a zombie apocalypse, do you really think that people would have their hair all nicely done, uh, facial makeup, etc.? Come on. Like, I know obviously you don't want to watch some dirty bum or something. I get it. Uh, but it's that's going from one extreme to another. Like, okay, maybe the worst is the dirty bum, but the best in quotes is this kind of supermodel looking, sussed up, like, woman or even a man actually these days, lots of makeup. And how about we go somewhere in the middle for once? How about that for a radical idea? How about we go to the middle, somewhere in between? And this is not it. This is not it. Anyway, this guy just gives a glowing review to the show, and again, you can read it. There's yet another screenshot here. So here we have another character who looks at a rat in a cage. I guess I haven't watched it myself. I'll be honest there, but because I have watched other Resident Evil things, and I know the trend. I know like where it's going. It's getting worse and worse. So again, um, this is kind of a classic. Let's just tint it blue, right? A lot of shows do that these days, and they think it's hip or something. It's really not, but okay, fine, whatever. We'll give this one a pass. The next one though, look again. So this is, I guess there is some kind of fire in the scene. That's why it looks red, unless it's red by maybe there's an alarm light which is red. That's okay. I'm fine with that. But look at the expression of the actress. Again, I don't know who that is. Okay, look, I'm not familiar really these days with kind of young actors. The actors I know are pretty old dudes like Robert De Niro, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, that kind of category. I mean, these are like over 60, I'm pretty sure. Uh, yeah. So I'm not really familiar so much with young actors. Okay, so I'm not gonna recognize any of them again. But if you look at the actress here, though, just again, very whoever is coaching them to act, not a very good job. Not a very good job at all. Just looks completely fake. That's the issue I have even before I watch this. So let me see like if he has a conclusion here. So I'm just gonna read the last paragraph because I guess this is kind of important. It's the guy's summary after all. So it's funny because I thought the article's headline said easily the best adaptation of the zombie franchise yet. Okay, so clearly they say this is the best adaptation, but in the conclusion the guy says, while this may not be the first. Oh, okay, sorry. That's okay, my bad. I misread. All right, let's just read it then. See how it goes. While this may not be the first Resident Evil adaptation, it's off to a strong start to claim the award for best adaptation we've yet seen. What a joke. That's not a shot at the beloved movie franchise, but simply a nod to the idea that Netflix take feels more at home in the video game world. Its storytelling approach of unfolding the plot at two separate points in time over a decade apart keeps things unique and engaging. This is what I said at the very beginning. This is the crowd of people who think, oh, it's unique, it's unique. You just don't know anything. And engaging while tracking the characters through an impending apocalypse and hope for future seasons that should be thrilling to watch, provided Netflix doesn't cancel the show. Trust me, that's exactly what's going to happen. As it has a number of other high profile series. Anyone else remember Cowboy Bebop? Actually, I do. And you know what? It was a piece of shit. And I'll get back to that in a moment. In all, Resident Evil is well worth your time, and ultimately you may be surprised by how deeply it draws you into its web. No, just no. Cowboy Bebop. Let's talk about that very quickly. What a train wreck that was. And again, it starts with casting. The casting was not good. I mean, they were like, it's not like all terrible. I'm not saying like they're all just terrible, but definitely some were awful. And I remember seeing like the intro, like they shot this kind of intro, right? And then they compared the intro to the Netflix show to the anime. And well, first of all, I'm a big fan of the anime. I think Cowboy Bebop is very good. I'm not saying like it's one of my favorites, but it is very good. Okay, it's definitely like one of the. It's probably my top 20, which says a lot. Anyway, the anime intro is way, way better than the Netflix one, okay? The Netflix one, especially with the Faye Valentine, they didn't know what to do with her, I guess. So it's just, hey, stand there and just wave the daggers around. And it's like, what the hell am I watching? Like, this is just ridiculous. And of course, like a lot of I haven't watched the show again, but I've seen what people said about it. People who watched the anime, and then they watched the Netflix thing, and they all pretty much said the same thing. This is a terrible idea. They shouldn't have done it because people who love the anime, they're really kind of hardcore fans. Like we have certain expectations, like certain characters should be this way, and if you try to make them a different way, it's just not gonna land well with people these days. You have to be very careful, like with certain groups of people. They really like something a certain way, and so if you do it differently, you're just not gonna appeal to them anymore. So you have to be careful. So yeah. But anyway, now we're gonna go have a look actually. So they say again, GameSpot said, this Chris Hayner guy. By the way, if you're wondering what he looks like, no, no surprise whatsoever. Here we go. Happy, over the top, exaggerated type of face. Um, Very 2022, I have to say, like extremely. But anyway, I'm not going to comment too much on his physical appearance. So again, GameSpot says this is the best adaptation yet. So the ratings must be really high, right? Let's go have a look. IMDb. Ouch. 3.7 out of 10. Okay, I know technically like it's not really out of 10 because you have to look at what the highest thing is, and it's probably like 9.2 or something. I don't know what it is, but it's probably 9.2. And so it's really out of 9.2, but still 3.7 is a disaster. It's a disaster. Like it's in the avoid bin, definitely. I mean, anything really below, what would you say? Below 6 is really not worth your time unless you're some kind of hardcore fan and you absolutely have to watch it. But anything below 6, I mean, look, life seems long, okay? It seems long, like we think, okay, on average human beings live, let's say, 70 to 80 years, and depending on how you live, sometimes time can feel very long indeed. But that doesn't mean though that you have to waste your time. That's the thing. It doesn't mean at all that you have to sit there and waste your time watching crappy show after crappy show. That's why you have a lot of choice. Okay, you have a choice to basically not do that and to avoid all the crap. So yeah, I think pretty much anything below 6 in the ratings is really not worth watching, and it's kind of like, unless you're some again, like a hardcore fan and you absolutely must watch it for whatever reason, then just don't. Save your time because you can use it more wisely, more productively. So you can read, let's go into the user reviews actually and see what they say. I'm just gonna read a few of these because again, there's like over 1,000, right? And then I'm gonna go to some Facebook comments. Okay, so just to kind of give you an array of what people are saying. So let's go to IMDb first. I know why Netflix is losing subscribers. Resident Evil sets a high bar, but this show misses it completely. It might have done better under some generic title. We have a poor story, poor acting, good effects, and a weird, really weird, misspaced soundtrack. Okay, Shockingly bad. This show might be the most annoying and insufferable main characters that has ever existed. They literally built an entire show around obnoxious teenage brats. Absolutely the worst show I've seen in years. This is not Resident Evil. When the rights to make these type of shows are sold or loaned out, there should be some ground rules. Netflix has hurt so many franchises by making subpar material. It isn't funny at all, truly. Okay, all right. Who was this made for? My guess is that it was made for the ultra woke um, mob these days, and we know what that's like. Definitely not for Resident Evil fans that played the original games and all its sequels. I don't remember seeing teenage drama when entering the Spencer mansion for the first time. Do you like all the characters from the games? Did you think Leon taking on hordes of Ganados to save the president daughter was epic? Do you remember the fear and suspense you felt the Nemesis stalked the police station corridors while you desperately tried to escape? Then don't watch this. Instead of all that, you get a nice, edgy, vegan teen and all versions of a Wesker that makes me want to watch Wesker die in the volcano over and over again. Okay. Resident Evil fans will hate this show. Destroys the Resident Evil universe. Writing is horrible. Writing is about the same. Way too heavy on the story. Limited action and monsters. Wesker's character is completely different. It's really not Wesker at all. It's like they took Charles Ashford or whoever and made a dorky geek family man of Wesker. Horrible in every way. The music is horrible, keeps popping up out of the blue and out of place. Acting is terrible. How can they act like they are bored when their lives are in danger? Story doesn't make sense. That's not Resident Evil. This is not Raccoon City I grew up with. Script is garbage. The death is like a dot with no dimensions. Netflix is a weird service. Okay, yep. Destroying the franchise. Yep, this is trash. Not worth the watch. Too bad they took something that started out not bad, the first film, then progressively got worse, and then finally pushed the button and destroyed it. I say leave this franchise alone for another 20 years, then revisit it. I agree with that. They need to, they really, really need to stop milking franchises. Right now, like Resident Evil, yes. Before that, it was the Terminator. Ooh, I mean, look, the Terminator. I'm actually a quite big fan of the Sarah Connor Chronicles. I thought it was good. Uh, because again, Terminator is not about going around shooting up robots, which that crap with Christian Bale was. It's a lot about philosophy. It's a lot about understanding what it means to be human, what it means to be a machine, and where we find common ground. It's a lot about philosophy of life, and Sarah Connor Chronicles really got a lot of that right. But anyway, yeah, Terminator before that, and right now they're doing the same with Star Wars. And I know there are big Star Wars fans, and they're just like, every little new Star Wars thing that comes out, they're like, oh. And I'm just looking at that. Oh, Jesus Christ! It's like another Star Wars thing. Are you kidding me? All right, so yeah, Resident Evil right now is the same. They really need to like drop it for a while, and then maybe again, like in 10 years or 20 years, if we're still there, maybe come back to it and do something with it. But obviously not this. That will still be crap, I guess. Let's go to the. So this is the post actually. Well, this is a different post, but still from GameSpot on Facebook. Let's see what people are saying in the comments. Okay, just one second. I'm gonna check here if it looks okay. Yeah, it looks fine. All right. So just gonna again read a few because there's a lot. There's like thousands and thousands of comments. This show is god awful. I could even barely get past the first 3 episodes. Resident Evil teen drama is more like it. This show is bad. It's like Netflix used the Resident Evil title just to get people to watch it. More than 10 games, and it seems that no one can get it right. I agree with that. This is absolutely spot on. They just can't. But you know what? The thing with that is, like, a lot of the time, the people who work on these shows, they themselves have actually not played the game. They just kind of jump on it because, hey, it's money, right? Somebody produces it, and everybody's getting paid, and it's just a job like any other, and they treat it like that. And instead, we need people who play the game and who are script writers, preferably like both at the same time. And the thing with this is there are people like that out there. Hello, I'm here. But guess what? Like it's impossible to get a job in the industry because I don't know anybody in the industry, so I can't jump into it. You see, you need connections. And even if you are very good, I mean, I'm a writer, I write books myself, but if you don't know anybody, it is really, really, I would say, like, impossible to get into the industry. So yeah, we're out there, okay? Like, we're out there, but we're just never gonna get a chance, and that's the reality of the situation. Okay, let's continue here. Uh, just finished it. It was enjoyable. Is it the best I've ever seen? No. Is it the worst I've ever seen? Not by far. It really didn't stand out among other TV series. We'll watch season 2 probably when it comes out. Well, it's probably gonna get canceled, so no. Everyone, I watched half of the first episode. Series is horrible. How trendy people describe an entire series while not even finishing the first episode. Well, again, this is kind of the crowd of people who, think everything today is new, unique, fresh. And I'm like, yeah, no, because usually, yeah, you actually can watch, half a first episode and it's just crap. And it's like, why would you, again, time is limited. We don't have an unlimited amount of time. We have jobs, we have other shows to watch, games to play, etc., etc. It all takes time. So if something is not good from the beginning, why would you put yourself through the torture of sitting through another like hours and hours of this garbage? You're right. That's what people should really think about. What happens next? Cancellation, most likely. I wonder what's going to catch up to Netflix first, bankruptcy or common sense. Your time will be much better spent playing Resident Evil in VR, a truly memorable and harrowing experience. Such an excellent, oh my god, such an excellent show. The best Resident Evil adaptation I've ever seen. Lance is great as Wesker. I can't wait for season 2. Okay. People that are complaining that it's bad have truly never seen something that bad. I'm guessing because I'm enjoying the show. What will happen next is that the show will be cancelled because it's so horrible. I cannot see how this gets a second season. This show is horrible and the acting is terrible. Why is it necessary to cuss without any reason but to just be able to say the F word? I'm a huge fan of the games, so I guess it means automatically hate the show. Just terrible hot garbage. I'm not looking past the halfway mark of episode 1, never mind next season. Show is hot garbage. So, again, here I kind of showed you an array of opinions. Like, clearly, some people liked it and some people, like, really hated it, okay? But again, the people who liked it, I really doubt that they are in tune with the Resident Evil universe. And let's look at that one more. And this is from IGN, okay? So, again, I already said before that GameSpot and IGN, I just think that they're basically shills. Uh, every little crap that comes out, they write that it's the best thing ever, etc., etc. Like you must watch it. Again, they show a screenshot here, and again, if you just look at the screenshot, it just looks fucking terrible. Like, oh my god, definitely don't want to watch that for sure. But again, let's see. This is a different article. They explain something, some ending, I guess. Yeah. And people are commenting. So I'm just going to go again through some comments here. I couldn't get through the first episode. It's Netflix. They'll just cancel it. This was one of the worst series ever. Terrible plot, terrible decision making. I'm guessing terrible acting as well, and everything that goes with it. Can Jade get eaten by a zombie already? Unwatchable for me. It's that bad. Season 2, and then there's a Simpsons thing here. Stop, it's already dead. Why OG Wesker looking like Blade? Yeah. Horrible show. No reason to give it a second season. Definitely not Resident Evil. After only watching the first episode, I can say that kids ruin everything. I don't know why the hell it's called Resident Evil. Could have been any other zombie name. This is not Resident Evil. I enjoyed the show, hoping for a second season. If it gets renewed, gets ready for the stock to tank again. This is the good show, but I wish they would have based season one on the flashbacks rather than going back and forwards. To me, the flashbacks are way more appealing than the current timeline, just my opinion. The kind of disrespect to the viewers is making companies like Netflix die. Young Jade in the flashbacks was so insufferable to watch. After episode 2, I could take it no more and tapped out. Fantastic season, excited for season 2. They made OG Albert Wesker Blade. Okay, so look again. Some people, just a few people, seem to really like it, but the vast majority of people really hate this piece of shit. Okay, so look, I'm just gonna say here to summarize that obviously you should not go by, you know, the ratings, because look, it depends. Sometimes it can be political. Like let's say like there's a Chinese movie that comes out in early 2020, and you know there's this whole COVID thing about China, right? That it started in China, and everything is China in bad is bad. So a lot of you're just gonna get naturally, unfortunately, just a lot of haters that are gonna go in there, and even if it's just completely unrelated things, just kind of hating on China or whatever, they're gonna go in there and give it like a 1 out of 10, etc., just to prove their point or whatever that means. And then the rating is not going to reflect the actual material. The rating is just going to reflect a culture of haters, you know? So, yeah, don't go by the ratings necessarily, but I think I gave you enough evidence here, just from the comments, that you find one good comment in there for every 10 bad ones. And that should give you a clue, really, that, yeah, this is not worth watching. So, yeah, my opinion is that the games are mostly good. I mean, obviously, some of them are not good, but definitely, look, it came from the game. So I don't understand why people start with the movie anyway, or some kind of show. Uh, if you if you are into Resident Evil, then just stop watching this garbage. Like, just go play the games. The games are much more interesting anyway, because in the movie, they follow a script. Somebody gets bitten or somebody dies, etc., etc. But in the game, like, it's you, like, you take damage, you have to avoid dangers, etc. So you're you're much more involved, obviously, than just watching a movie. You're just watching, but in the game, it's you. Like, you're like a fraction of a second late and you're gonna take a hit, and you don't want that because you don't want to die. Then you have to go back and restart the stage. So yeah, it's the same with Silent Hill. um I'm not saying that everything is bad in the movie, etc. It's not, but you're just gonna get a much better experience playing the game, because like you're in there, like, and you often have the choice to do something. Like, you can go, especially if it's a bit more open world, you can go explore. In the movie you can't do that. The movie, follows a script. Um, let's say there is a street, right? And there's like 5 shops on the street. Well, in the game, you can go into maybe 3 stores. 2 of them will be just there for decoration. But in the movie, probably probably they will go into the one store and that's it. So again, I'm just saying, like, for if you're looking for some kind of immersive experience, then definitely go with the games for sure. And as far as this Netflix Resident Evil thing is concerned, I would be surprised that very soon um, it will get canceled. Not surprised at all. So yeah. Anyway, uh, just whatever. Uh, just be careful of this mob these days that consider everything unique, new, original. The reality is none of that. The reality is that most likely these are kind of very like young millennials, and they actually don't know anything. They haven't watched things from the 70s, 80s, the 90s, and that's not really too surprising because I was born in the 80s, and I'm mostly familiar with 70s, 80s, 90s, and of course after that as well. But I am not familiar so much with movies from the 40s or the 50s or even the 60s to a large extent. So that's not really something new. Um, but the thing is, like, you have to be careful here because the time matters. So, for example, when the movies started coming out with the silent films, etc., like in the 20s, 30s, um, the the people who, let's say, were born in the 80s, right? They had 40, 50 years of experience to look back on, right? But the people who are born in 20, like in 2000, like the millennials, they actually have 80, well, 70 or 80 years of experience to look back on, and that really matters. That really matters. So you can't go into things these days saying that it's original, it's unique, because it's not. And it's the same with books, and it's the same with games, really. It's just everything is recycled. And just because you don't know what it's recycled from doesn't mean that it's new and original and unique. So I'll leave you on that note. I'm definitely skipping this. I am not going to watch this. And yeah, I do enjoy Resident Evil, but just not this, not this. Okay, that's it for today. Otaku Ops signing off. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you around next time. Bye bye.